And that's okay, because you are absolutely worth it. Today, I get to answer a couple of other advice seeker questions. The first ones I answered were about boundaries and how we can keep those boundaries. And I love that this section is more about the relationships that we have. How do we rediscover the joy in a relationship? How do we keep our strength when we're dealing with the dating world and trying to find people that might work really well with us or work against us? At first glance, these two questions may seem like total opposites. How do you rediscover the joy in a relationship, or how do you maintain your strength, confidence, and positiveness when you're in the dating scene? And yet, for me, they really have similar facets. Let me explain. I want you to take a moment and write down all of the things that make you you, all of your hobbies, all of the things you enjoy to do, the things that you know how to do, traits and characteristics. You're a great listener, comedic relief. Whatever that is, make a huge list. And I would highly recommend that over the next few days, you add to that list, because you're going to end up with a really, really big list. And when you're done making that list, I want you to then picture each one of those different traits on a different side of a multi-sided die. So now you have this die, and it represents you, and it has so many different little facets. I like to run. I like to laugh. I like tea. I really enjoy baseball. All of the things that are you. It's beautiful. It has all this space in the inside that you get to keep all your emotions and your energy and your joy. And then all of these other things are everything that's you. The cool thing about this is that every single person you come across has a die. And they have different facets, and there are going to be some facets that really connect with you, and there are going to be other facets that are like two magnets that are really opposing each other. But that means that every single person you come up on is unique and fabulous, and there is going to be at least one thing that you will be able to connect on, to chat with, to grow a friendship or relationship with. It may be that you're going to come across people that you could learn from, because there's a facet on their die that you've always wondered about, and now you can learn a little bit. They can teach you something. This is how I look at relationships. I have my own die. All of the cool things that are me. You have yours, and we get to come together. When you're dating, you have your own die, and you are seeing how your die will fit up against somebody else's die. And you might go try this thing out. You're not interested in any way, shape, or form, but you'll do it because you're on a date and you got to see. And you may find that you absolutely love it, and it is a new, enjoyable facet that you want to add to your die. And other things you're going to say, okay, I'm never going to do that again. And the cool thing is that with each date, you get to test out these die, and you get to play around and what works and what doesn't work, and how is this great and how is that not great. I do have a word of caution here, though, and this is whether you're in a new relationship, you're just starting dating, or you've been in a relationship for a really, really long time. It is imperative that you maintain your own facets. If you find someone that you really like and that you really want to spend time with, and you start changing all of your facets to meet exactly his facets or her facets, if you start changing, you end up flatlining, and there's not as much about you because you're fading away, becoming them. You need to maintain all of those fabulous things. It means that there is still more for you to talk about. There's still more for you to do. There's still more for you to experience. It means that when you go on a date, you've been together for 10, 20 years, that you have all of these facets that you can talk about and you're excited about, and they can have all these facets that they're excited about and they want to talk about. And then the night flies by, And it flies by because you have so much to talk about, because you get to experience things. Sometimes while you're dating or later on in a relationship, you may find that there is something that you really do not like to do by yourself, but you do enjoy doing with this other person. That's a new die. I call that the couple die. So you have your own die with all of your facets. Your partner has their die, or your friend has their die with all of their facets. And then there's this die in the middle. And this die in the middle is all of the things that you have in common that you're excited to do together, and maybe you don't do separately. Perfect example of this is cooking. My husband and I both love to eat really healthy, delicious homemade meals. We love to be in the kitchen together. I do the chopping and he does the heat and the spice. But the thing is that neither one of us really enjoys to be in the kitchen cooking by ourselves. It is seriously a couple thing because it's not on my die normally. Baking might be. I love being in the kitchen baking, but cooking a meal so I can sit down and eat it is definitely just not one of those. I'm one of the quick grab and go kind of gals. If he's gone, if he's not at home, I'll tell you, I am eating pretty poorly because I just don't have that drive. That's not something I enjoy doing. So our couple die includes things like cooking and other stuff that we enjoy doing together, but not necessarily on our own. He likes to do puzzles with me. He doesn't like to do puzzles on his own. A really cool concept and aspect to this whole thing is the fact that these facets will change over time. Who you are right now is completely different than who you were 15, 20 years ago, and who you will be 20 years from now is completely different than who you are right now. My couple die, my individual die, they all shift a little bit. One thing that was on my die might come off because I don't do that anymore, but I do something new, and my couple die is going to shift dramatically. Your couple die may not exist because you don't have a partner, and then eventually it will exist. Or maybe you have a partner, but now you're an empty nester. Do you think that life is the same before when you had kids as after? I mean, your die is going to completely shift and change because it doesn't center around the kids anymore and getting them to and from and all of the things that have to happen there. So we are constantly shifting. We are constantly changing. We are constantly finding new things on our die that we can enjoy and grow. We are learning more, and there are some things that we let go and some things that we add, and we are shifting and changing. But because you have so many different sides on this die, it means that you can always find something to connect on. You can always find something to build on. There's always something. Always. So even when you've lost a little bit of that spark in your relationship, now it's time to look at the die and say, hey, what can we reconnect on? What do you like? What do I like? You have an opportunity to rebuild your couple die because it might be that there are things that you used to do and you stopped doing. I want to do that again. And there may be new things that you'd like to try together and explore to see, how can we rebuild this couple die? How can we find new things, new aspects that excite us and bring us more joy and more connection with each other? When you look at it this way, there's always something that you can find, always something you can do. And when you look at this in the dating world, I want you to think about this. This is your die. You are absolutely beautiful and unique with all of your talents and skills and knowledge and likes and hobbies. This is you, and it is fantastic. And you're out there looking for somebody who can cherish that. And if you are meeting with somebody who wants you to change those facets on your die, they are absolutely not worth it. They are people that you can say, I like you, and we might have a die like one or two facets together, but we don't have enough to make a couple die. So I'm going to stand strong with myself because you don't quite fit with me. And that's okay, because you are absolutely worth it. You are absolutely worth finding somebody that you have so many things in common and cherishes you for all of the things that you have that are uniquely you. I hope that this insight, this thought, this inspiration helps you a little bit in your journey, and keep the questions coming.